This video is brought to you by Raycon. Hey Arlo? Yes, alternate universe Arlo? Have you ever noticed how everything is amazing? I have noticed that. I have noticed that everything is amazing. And is it just me, or is at least 41% of that amazingness thanks to these Raycon everyday earbuds? You know, I think you're right. Raycons let us listen to music anywhere, anytime. Our entire music library is always at our fingertips. And with up to 8 hours of battery life, 32 hours using the charging case, we barely ever have to charge them. Amazing! Too true. And you know what's even more amazing? These are definitely the comfiest earbuds I've ever tried. The optimized silicone tips they came with ensure a perfect fit. And no matter what I do, they never seem to fall out. Totally. They look and feel super slick. And did you know they're also water resistant? I dropped them in a puddle earlier and was afraid you'd be mad at me, so that's a relief. And also amazing. I love how easily I can switch between 3 sound profiles and even take calls at the touch of a button. Yeah, that's a pretty good amount of amazing in GL. Most amazing of all, they're half the price of other audio brands. And on top of that, you can get 15% off your purchase by heading to buyraycon.com/Arlo or by hitting the link down in the description. All orders come with a 100% happiness guarantee. That is amazing. Everything's amazing and will be amazing forever, no doubt. Pusha. 2017. A dream comes true. Nintendo announces Metroid Prime 4 against all odds. I mean, really, like it seemed impossible. You know, I thought for sure that they would give us a 2D game and kind of see how well that sold long before they said a single thing about the Prime series again. It wasn't even something I was actively hoping for. I just thought, no, there's no way. And that's one reason why it was so unbelievably amazing. It's why it really felt like one of your deepest, most just personal, important dreams coming true. It feels incredible when dreams like that come true. Just incredible. And I am still so thankful that Metroid Prime 4 is still coming. But when a dream comes true, but then you spend this many years waiting for it to actually come true, to reap the rewards, it can hurt. You know, it can hurt. We got that announcement, it was awesome, and then we waited a year and a half. We waited until right exactly when it felt like maybe we might start to see some teases, you know, like 2 years of development, that's a good amount. That might even be like halfway done. Maybe, right? But then on that fateful day, Nintendo announced that they were restarting. Just scrapping everything they had and just restarting, giving it to Retro. And, you know, that hurt. That hurt. It was completely understandable. Absolutely. You know, making a good game is the most important thing, especially for a troubled series like Metroid. You know, if they weren't happy with how the game was shaping up, they made the right call. Absolutely. Plenty of other companies would not have done the same thing. Scrapping it, giving it to Retro Studios. Like, yes. But boy, did it hurt. It still really stung. I mean, usually a company will announce a game, like after it's been in development for a while, you know, like maybe a year before release, max. You know, there are plenty of examples of long development cycles and people being led along for multiple years, but you know, it's not usually their goal. It's not a company's goal to do it that way. So being told that Metroid Prime 4 was coming when it had only just started development, then being told almost 2 years later that it was being restarted, it hurt. It was like Metroid Prime 4 became something we couldn't even be hyped about anymore. We had to just forget it. We had to just pretend that it even existed for a while. And now it has officially been 4 entire years since development on Metroid Prime 4 restarted. 4 years. So in total, we've been waiting nearly 6 years. And to make matters much worse, we still don't have a single shred, not one teeny little crumb of information about the game. What we've got is like acquisitions at Retro, like the people they've been hiring, and then that Twitter banner image from a while back on the Retro Studios Twitter. That's it. Neither of those things is concrete whatsoever. And that's all we've got. It's like, I know they'll reveal something when they're ready. They are clearly not yet ready. A teaser would be nice, but maybe they don't even want to tease until they are ready to start delivering more regularly. Sure, but I cannot stress enough how long 4 years is. How long 4 years? 4 years to go with absolutely nothing. Right now, it feels like we're a kid, okay? And mom's making cupcakes. Awesome, we can't wait. And she's like, are you gonna be patient? And we're like, yes. We are very, very good at being patient. We will wait as long as it takes for you to make those delicious cupcakes. And we have been doing such a good job being patient. We have been doing amazingly. But now it's like 2 in the morning. It's 2 in the morning. We are starving. And mom still hasn't come out of the kitchen. And we want to keep being patient. We want to so much, but it just keeps getting harder and harder the longer we go. And it feels like even just a little tiny lick of batter. If we could just like lick the spoon or something, just a little would go a long way. But we have not been able to lick the spoon. We can't even so much as smell the cupcakes coming from the kitchen. We can't even smell them. And so obviously I've got to ask, why have we gone this long with nothing? Why has it been 4 years with just not even a crumb, not even a whiff? I know that it is absolutely wrong to make big assumptions at this stage. Absolutely. Sometimes things just take a long time. Doesn't mean there's anything wrong. They just take a while. Bayonetta 3 had a very similar development cycle. Announced in 2017, years without any updates, then finally released a whopping 5 years later. Sometimes games just can take a good 4 or 5 years to make. Usually it's only that long for like really big AAA games. Nintendo works on more of a budget with weaker hardware, so I don't think their cycles are usually that long. And then, of course, pandemic might have had at least something to do with the delay, for sure. But the thing is, even if Metroid follows a similar timeline as Bayonetta 3, which we can all see was kind of like pushing the limits of what is normal, that still means that we are overdue for some kind of reveal. So like every direct that goes by now without a reveal is gonna just make me more and more anxious. Like I said, like if you're speaking rationally, it is still definitely too early to worry. Absolutely. But here's the thing about worrying. I'm actually really good at worrying. I don't know if you know this about me. It's almost like a superpower, Like even if there's nothing really to worry about, I can just sort of worry anyway. It's just it's a skill of mine. It's something that I'm quite adept at. And while not all long development cycles are a product of development troubles per se, they absolutely can be. They really can. 4 years without a single peep from Retro, when they know that we are dying for something, and coming after a previous approximately 2-year development that ended up getting scrapped, I must admit, it's a little unnerving. A little tiny bit unnerving. This game has already had trouble. Like, technically, it has already had development trouble. So it's a lot easier than most cases to imagine it hitting even more trouble. Most of the key creative staff at Retro have left the company since the original Prime trilogy. The gaming landscape has changed a lot. There are a lot of different things that could theoretically be going wrong. Primarily, they might just not really know what to do with the game, you know? Maybe they're struggling with the very idea of a modern first-person Metroid game. You know, do you stay true to the series' roots? Do you make it more like a modern first-person shooter? Do you make it less linear? Do you introduce some kind of crazy new mechanic that really changes up the gameplay? I could see all that being an issue, for sure. That is a whole lot of variables to consider and a lot of pressure to get it right, to line up all those variables and really just knock it all out of the park. And development issues for any game are gonna be a sad story, you know? But in this particular case, if the game did end up having issues with development, continued issues that really affected how it turned out and when it released, then that would be a very, very bad thing. like we don't want the game to get completely canceled because they just don't even know what to do with it. That would be beyond heartbreaking. That would be heart destroying. But we also don't want it to come out and just, you know, not stick the landing and just not be very good and sell poorly because of that. Because this is Metroid, you know, like I could make a whole video about just this concept, about how scared I am for Metroid Prime 4, even just separately from anything surrounding its development or anything, just it as a concept. I'm terrified of it because this is a series with a rocky past when it comes to sales. All of this happens and all of this long stretched out development cycle, like if Prime 4 doesn't sell well, after all this time and money has been spent on it, I don't think you need me to tell you what I'm getting at here. It would be very, 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 very bad for the series. And even if, I'll admit, it is technically too early to worry, the longer we go, the easier that worry is gonna come for me. You know, like every year, it feels like this is it. This has got to finally be the year. They show it to us, right? Something, a teaser, an image, something. This has got to be. We can't go another year. And then each time we go another year, you know, and each time that happens, it's a little bit more deflating. And for me personally, I don't know, like I don't know a lot about game development or how long it should take. I'm really just going off what I have, but I don't work in the industry. But like for me personally, that 5-year mark, like a big game is 5 years. So like for me personally, we're on year 5 now. Year 5 is now ticking. So it kind of feels like the last year that can go by without me going into full-blown worry mode. I mean, just 5 years is enough time in a lot of cases. Every case is different, but like people create these massive, graphically amazing, gorgeous AAA games for next-gen consoles. They could do all that in 5 years. If they already have like an engine and assets and ideas and stuff, it can even take less time because they're recycling stuff. 5 years is forever. It's a half decade. It's basically forever. So even if it is still not wise in the slightest, and I don't recommend anyone else does the same, if 5 entire calendar years go by and we still haven't heard a single thing about Metroid Prime 4, then yes, I'm sorry to say, I will start to worry. I just know myself well enough. This is a thing that happens. It's gonna be inevitable. And of course, that puts a lot of pressure on each Nintendo Direct this year, you know, like, you know, assuming it's pretty safely that they're gonna reveal something at a Nintendo Direct, a big official Nintendo event, then like, we only have a small handful of opportunities for the game to be revealed or even teased. If Nintendo follows the usual trend and we get a Direct in like February and September and like maybe one in June, you know, like just like a little handful per year, then like each time it ends and there's no Metroid Prime 4, the cracks, they're wearing on me, you know? These little cracks in my psyche, and I feel the worry. The worry is inside of me and it wants to come pouring out, and I don't want it to, but I feel like it's gonna. This video doesn't really have a point. It's, like ultimately, I don't really have like a primary thesis or anything here. I think I just wanted to talk about Metroid Prime 4 for a bit, and how long it has been that we have been waiting, and how that feels. Sometimes it just feels good to talk about these things, Am I silly to worry? Am I just being truly impatient? Do you actually find it easy to wait half a decade or more for something you really, really want? Maybe different people, right? Whatever the case, let me know down in the comments, and